I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. So a while ago I did a video talking about my top 5 favorite books that take place at a boarding school or something like that, and one of you guys commented on that video saying that you would love to see a similar video done on books that take place at college. Now this is a lot more difficult because there aren't a lot of books based in college that I personally have read. I know that the whole new adult genre is supposed to be catering to that, but I haven't read anything that's new adult, and this person actually asked that I don't do new adult books, or that they've heard of new adult books but they would love to know what my favorites are. So these are 5 books that I have gathered that all take place at a college in some shape or form, and you will see what I mean in a minute. The first book is probably one of my favorite books of all time and definitely one of the best books that I read in 2012, and that is The Art of Fielding by Chad Harbach. If you have been a subscriber for a while, you have seen me review this book, and I will have a link to that review down below, but I also had this on my best of 2012 list and I just loved it so much. This book follows not only kids who are in college but also one of the deans and the dean's daughter. It's just a really well done novel. This is Chad Harbach's debut novel and it is just so well done. It deals with baseball but it doesn't really have anything to do with baseball, or if you don't like baseball you won't be missing anything from this book. It's a really great character based story and I love it so much and I highly recommend it. Another book that I recently read that has been getting more than its fair share of hype is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I read this earlier this year, it just came out in September, and I did a whole series of videos on this book. This is a really great college-based story. I think this is a really good description of what it's like being a freshman in college, especially for people like me who are slightly more bookish and introverted and don't necessarily know how to deal with large social situations or major changes and things like that. A lot of the experiences that Kath goes through reminded me a lot of myself, so this is definitely up there as one of my favorite college-based books. The next book is A Secret Society Girl by Diana Petrofern. This is a 4-book series and I have talked about this multiple times on this channel because I think it is a very underrated series, but it's a lot of fun. This is probably technically considered YA, but it basically takes place at a university called Eli University, which is basically Yale without saying Yale, and it has to do with the secret societies at that university, and there's this one that decides that it is going to change that year from an all-male secret society to a co-ed secret society, and the series takes place over the course of 2 school years and it is just so much fun and I just loved it so much and I kind of want to reread it because it was just a really fun read. Now this next book is stretching the rule just a little bit, but it is Admission by Jean Han Korelitz. I don't know if that's how you say her name. This book is actually told from the point of view of someone who works as an admission officer at Princeton, and the author herself worked in the admissions office at Princeton, so it talks a lot about the process of looking at applications of, you know, thousands of students and trying to pick which ones actually get in, but it actually has a lot more going on in the story than that specifically. But that is actually the reason why I picked it up, because I find those sort of minute details of universities, especially Ivy League universities, really interesting. This was actually made into a movie with Tina Fey and Paul Rudd, I want to say, but I never actually saw the film and I didn't hear super great things about it. This book isn't like the best book ever. It was a good book, it wasn't a great book, and the ending kind of went somewhere that I wasn't expecting it to go. I still think that this was just a really interesting read and definitely not one I regret reading. And then my final book for this video is Jeffrey Eugenides's The Marriage Plot. I actually haven't read this book yet, so technically it shouldn't be on this list, but I couldn't think of a 5th book, and when I was coming up with this list, this is actually one that I thought of, and I now kind of want to read this book, so this video may have encouraged me to read The Marriage Plot sooner rather than later. If you don't know, this story takes place partially in a college. It's about a couple that meets while in college, and then I think it moves on beyond that point, but part of the story does take place in a college, so this is definitely one that I want to read because I like Jeffrey Eugenides. I thought I would just include it on the list anyways, even though I technically haven't read it yet. So yeah, those are my top 5 favorite books that take place at colleges. If you have read any other books that take place in college and you really love those books, feel free to leave those recommendations down in the comments section, because I know for a fact that I like college-based books more than high school-based books, if only because one, it's closer to my own age, and two, it's different from the norm. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.